Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by today. My name is SRP. Well, I guess my name is Stone Rain Productions, but feel free to call me SRP. I did that a little backwards. But anyway, I want to do something a little bit different. I know I've been doing post-rotation deck ideas for the last two sets or so, but we didn't really have a clear idea of what to expect as far as what's going to be available after rotation goes. So I figured we could just do, again, this is just all speculation, more of a let's get our minds in the right place for when rotation does happen type of a video. And I wanted to take a look at the videos, the leaders, I should say, to try to get an idea of what could potentially be something that could see some play. We'll take a look at some cards. We'll go from there. And what I'm including here on this page, this is going to be Star Wars Unlimited's website. I just filtered by the four sets, the Jump to Lightspeed, Legends of the Force, Secrets of Power, and I included the few cards that are in from A Lawless Time, plus the cards from Intro Battle Hoth. Those are not going to rotate. And I just want to try to get an idea of what we think could potentially be some players after rotation comes through here. And right off the bat, just as we go through here, I don't really have an idea about the new cards yet. So I don't want to really touch those. I don't think Leia's going to be that good. Jabba maybe, but the problem I think that we're seeing with a lot of these leaders is that in the current metagame, Spark of Rebellion is just so dominant that a majority of the cards, I think it was like 30% of the cards that see play are from Spark of Rebellion. And there's kind of a drop-off after the first three sets as far as leaders go. We'll just kind of go through here, and I'm going to stop at the leaders that I think that could potentially see play. Chancellor Palpatine definitely is one of those leaders. He's already putting up results now with his ability. And really what we want to look at with Palp is that we're going to always have a very limited field of cards that Palpatine's going to be able to get. And just going over this, the front side of this is you can pay an action, exhaust him, and look at the top 5 cards of your deck and reveal a card with plot and put it into your hand. So we're only going to ever have those cards from Secrets of Power to work with. However, this leader has kind of already shown us that even though it's not particularly powerful, its ability is decent enough that it can carry a deck. And we've already seen some decent results for this leader so far. Meanwhile, this is all to say that we don't really know what's going to be coming up in A Lawless Time. We have an idea of what we're going to see, and spoilers, as of recording this, I believe spoilers are starting next week. It is the 9th as I'm recording this now, January 9th, 2026. And we'll get an idea, a better idea of what's going to be coming. I think Jabba could see some play. I like the ability to deal 2 damage or more to a unit, so it's potentially really good. It's just so tough with these leaders. Honestly, I could potentially see Yularen, depending on what we see here. And I think that this is a kind of a safe bet, because really what this leader is doing is it's just letting you be aggressive. And it's a combination of aspects that we don't really see often. Again, I don't really know what we're going to be seeing in A Lawless Time, but the cunning and villainy combo traditionally has not been good. So if we do see some support for those aspects, Yularen could be something to deal with here. Potentially Dryden. I just think the card disadvantage is just too much to overcome with Dryden. And I love that it can give ambush to a unit, but discarding that card, and it's got to be a certain cost, it's difficult. I think we could see Dryden if we get some kind of a discard mechanic where cards in our discard pile make a difference. We may see him. We could potentially see Bale However, one of the nice things about Vale is that with his ability, we can play a resupply, and then we can get the resupply back with his ability and play it again. And it seems like a Lawless Time is going for a different way to do ramp with the credit tokens. So we'll see how that goes. I think Dedra could be a player. She's a pretty good leader because she can fit into both control and aggro. To me, she's more of a control leader. I think Cassian could potentially see some play here as a pillar. And now we're just kind of speculating, like I said, for potential future pillars for the rotation format. I could even see Luthen getting some play here in more of a unit control type of a deck. But again, we'll have to see what comes up here. One of the interesting leaders here that I think could actually see some more play, because it really hasn't seen any right now, is DJ. And hear me out on this one. The reason why I'm saying that is just because we're getting an idea that we can get different types of aspect cards, like the Han card. We'll go over that in a second. We're going to go over the units and all the other cards after. But with the playing of the aspects for some of the units that are coming out, it's a potential. I think it could possibly see some play. We don't really know what we're getting yet, but I kind of like the idea of DJ seeing more play. Sabe, I think, is definitely a player moving forward after rotation. I think Padme, with Quinlan being gone, I think that Padme has a much better chance at seeing some play. Kylo, again, depending on the support that we get, possibly a resurgence for Kylo. I really don't see a lot of the Force leaders coming back here, like the Mother Talzin. I could be wrong on that. I guess it's going to depend on how much support we get for Force stuff. And let's see, for set 5, Obi-Wan, maybe Supreme Leader Snoke. He's got a great ability, and it doesn't depend on the Force, so I think that's a possibility. Third Sister, I think, is a potential contender here because I like the ability to give something hidden and make it so that your units can't be attacked. So it makes it so that your opponent has to rely more on events to defeat your units. And FFG has already kind of stated that they're moving away from more of that controlling type of an aspect here. So Third Sister could potentially see some play. And I think it's a good card. I think Force Leaders, maybe Qui-Gon, depending on what we get. I really have wanted Qui-Gon to do well, but it just kind of seems like it's hitting or missing the mark. It's got such a good foundation right now. I love Qui-Gon with anything that makes more than one token, like Queen Amidala. It's just really solid. It's hard to say right now what's going to happen with the Force Leaders, though. Thrawn, definitely could see Thrawn being a player here. Pilot Vader, of course. He's solid. Piet's going to be losing all of its ramp, so we're going to have to see what we get, but Piet's just a solid card. Boba, maybe. I think Von Reg and Luke. Definitely Luke could be a contender. He's kind of been on the fringe right now, but I could see it. I could definitely see it. Most of the pilot leaders I could see. Akbar, potentially. He's kind of already putting up results. Kazuda for sure. Han, pilot for sure. Definitely could see it. And even Poe, more of a pilot aggro deck as well. So just kind of a cursory idea for the leaders anyway. For bases, we're kind of in a weird spot with bases right now. And I like the changes, if you haven't heard, for a Lawless Time, where the bases are going to they're going to always take up the base slot. So if you get a rare base in a Lawless Time, it's going to be in your base slot. It's no longer going to be in the rare slot. And I think this is a great change. Opening a pack and getting a base as your as your rare, and then you've got like 5 or 6 of them. It just kind of feels bad anyway. Bases. These new common bases where they can provide, you can ignore the aspect of a card as a one-time thing. Maybe, it's very difficult right now to say, but they don't look good. In my opinion, they just don't look good. If you're going to be putting cards in your deck that you plan on playing off aspect from your base, I just can't see it. It just seems like, let's say you've got 6 cards in your deck that are off aspect right now. With these common bases, you're playing those 6 cards in the hopes that you hit one of them, and then the rest of those 5 are pretty much going to be dead unless you pay the aspect penalty for those. It just seems right now like I don't see where they're going with this. It just does not seem good enough to me. The Great Pit of Carcoon, I don't think that the Sarlacc of Carcoon is a good enough unit, personally. As far as the special bases go, this 20 hit point base kind of makes me laugh a little bit. The force bases, I just don't see it, honestly. I could be way off, but I don't know. It seemed to, I wish that the mechanic was a little bit more wide open, where there were cards outside of Legends of the Force that kind of enabled this, or kind of, that the ability itself was kind of a little bit more far-reaching. It was great for the time because this is when Championships, the first Galactic Championship, came out, but I don't see it seeing a ton of play moving forward, personally. Now, for the rest of these, it's tough. Nabat, Colossus, maybe. I mean, Data Vault, we'll probably see that until that rotates. Colossus, possibly. Now, one thing that I actually do think that we will see a little bit more of is this Thermal Oscillator, because it seems like these credit tokens could be a way forward for something like a combo deck. And what I mean by that is it's a good way to reduce the cost of cards. And if we can narrow something down for a combo deck with this base, we may be able to actually have some functional combo here. But again, it's going to all depend on how things play out. Same with Nabat Village. I could actually see that seeing more play, potentially, just as a way to get the combo decks. I think those 2 bases are best suited for combo, probably more so Nabat than Thermal Oscillator. But I like the idea of being able to decrease your deck size by 5. And I think that we are going to probably see more viable combos with set 6. Geez, I can't speak. With set 7, set 8, and set 9. Sorry. First day with a new mouth, I guess, right? So the bases, it's not looking great here so far. We may be playing a 30 hit point basis and going from there. And as far as the cards proper, we don't really have a lot from A Lawless Time to start. I think this Han is just ridiculously good to start with. It's really fantastic, and I think that it will definitely see some play. And this is the type of card that I'm talking about with Han. With DJ, the leader, where they're going with these different types of aspects for these cards. And we may see double yellow and vigilance. Who knows what we're going to see. But the fact that we're seeing cards like this, where they're playing with the aspects, I think is fantastic. So far, I don't know, I'm just not sure what to expect. But the fact that I see this leads me to believe that we have a better chance at seeing combo. I think Zeb is potentially interesting because being able to deal 5 damage to something if you've got one of these other aspects, the command or cunning, is pretty intriguing. Getting a 5 cost 4/4 sentinel that deals 5 damage to something on the ground is pretty good potentially. The Leia's Disguise, the Bausch Disguise, is kind of like nerfed Boba Fett's armor. It's just not that great. R2 is not too bad. Great Pit of Carcoon. I'm just not seeing a ton here for a Lawless Time yet. I do like this credit mechanic though, the create the credit token. For those that aren't aware, the way that the credit tokens are going to work is when you pay resources, you can sacrifice your credit tokens and make something cost 1 less, essentially. I suppose it could be good for paying cards that are out of aspect as well, too. So I guess we'll see. As far as cards, we right now know that Cunning Heroism is at a very solid place, and so is Aggression Heroism as well, too. So definitely those for sure. For Villainy, I still think that Command is good. I think that Vigilance is also good for Villainy right now. Cad Bane's in a decent spot. Works good with the Palpatine. We're not going to be seeing Kira anymore. That's not part of our plans. As far as Control, Condemn, Death Trooper potentially. Sly Moore somewhat. Emergency Powers, I could definitely see that seeing some play. It already is. However, we have to remember that Gar Saxon's not going to be around as well too. Not that we really see a ton of Gar, but something to consider. And again, I'm just filtering so that we've got the cards from set 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7, and Intra Battle Hoth here, just to look at. I think something like Captain Rex goes up in value as well here too. I don't really think that Vigilance Heroism really needs a boost. I mean, we've got the Bo-Katan. The Yoda deck is just really great at this point. So that's in a good spot. I think that Galen could see a little bit more play as well too. I wanted to take a look and see, because I don't believe that any of the ramp stuff has been reprinted. And I'm really curious to see if Lawless Time is going to bring any of that over. Secretly, I'm kind of hoping that they don't. I would like to see a Lawless Time and Forward just have a chance to do its own thing. And not kind of go back and focus on stuff from sets 1 through 3. And I know that may sound a little bit harsh because there's a lot of staples that are leaving. But if we can make some comparable staples in set 7, I think that will be in a good spot. And it'll kind of give FFG more of a solid footing for future sets. And if they need to reprint something after that, I think that they can. I'm not completely opposed to that, but I think it's probably better to start if they just skip the reprints for now or limit them greatly. All right, based on what we've seen here, I just don't really see a lot of Control moving forward. I think the only event that I can really consider that's playable really for removal is No Glory for the Vigilance Villainy. Lando could potentially see some more play. If there is some kind of Control, I could see Nimble Prowess being in there. I like that it's a 1 cost. You get to attach it to a friendly unit and give it +1/+1, and then you get to exhaust. You can exhaust something with it too. You may exhaust a unit in attached units arena. So you can buff your unit and you can exhaust something. That kind of pairs okay with something like Condemn in the ground arena. We still have some good Sentinels here. Really bums me out that we're losing Childson, but it's whatever. I like Lobot. I really like Control, so I'm just trying to look for an excuse to play something here. I think Eye of Aldani, potentially Hyperspace Disaster could see some play. Knowledge and Defense, maybe for some early plays or to finish something off. I think that Corrupt Politician definitely goes up in value. I think Officials in general go up in value. And I'm hoping that we get a decent amount in a Lawless Time as well, too. Let's take a look and see what was set there. It's challenging, for sure. I don't really see a lot from Command Villainy that looks appealing. Again, we were discussing before, the Command Heroism definitely still looks solid. We've got the Mina and Captain Typho. Queen Amidala just came out. That thing is filthy. It's just so good right now. I mean, Gunji, Mina, there's so much good stuff in green right now. And Heroism, unless something really vastly changes, I think that it's just going to see a stranglehold. Gonk is good. Jar Jar, I like the Jar Jar still. That's good with Palpatine. Just kind of going through here. I think that potentially trade route taxation, we could see that being seeing some more play. I'm hoping that aggression villainy gets some more support as well too, because it just seems like it's floundered a little bit. Between Cyril Karn and HK, that's really about it that I can think of as far as playables, and it depends on the deck. The Warrior of Clan Ordo is another decent one that you can fit into red. I would love to see somebody make a Dryden deck work, but I think the card's just a little bit too corny. I think that we will definitely see more cards like Fulminatrix. A lot of the Set 1 finishers, Set 1 had a pretty good amount of finishers in it, including a lot of the Villainy, Vigilance, capital ships. Those are all going to be leaving, so I'm really curious to see what's going to fill their place here. Karis Nemec, of course, is amazing. We were discussing aggression, heroism before. I think Chopper could see some more play. I think Kazuda could see more play of the unit. Papa Noida, I really hope that we get more support for double aspect. I'd love to see something with double aggression here. Kaz, Senti Kaz didn't really seem to do as well as the hype was on her. Sudden Ferocity, I think, still is going to see quite a bit of play. Aggressive Negotiations, I like the single aspect on there. I think Topple the Summit will definitely see quite a bit more play. Cunning in general just does not seem to be in that great of a spot. It just, overall, A-Wing's good. I could absolutely see a Vader list. I actually built a post-rotation Vader list as well too. There's another video. I'll see if I can link it afterwards if I remember. Just going through here. One other thing to remember, we don't really have a ton of combat tricks like surprise strikes, things of that nature. I like Krea's Whispers for a combo deck. I think that's a pretty cool card, and it hasn't seen a ton of play. The other card was I think it was, where was it? It was a Villainy Cunning card. Just trying to find it here. Like No One Ever Knew. The one that exhausts for each friendly official unit that you have is pretty awesome. Go back here. I think Elia Kane potentially could see some play. I don't really know what's going to happen with Rebels in general. Don't think that we've got a ton of Rebels. I'm just kind of curious. These are a lot of the intro Battle Hoth stuff here. So I kind of wanted to do a review of intro Battle Hoth anyway, and I think that this might be a good spot to do it. I think that this R2 could potentially see some play if you can, especially with the way that they're working in aspects now. On attack, if you control a command unit, you get to exhaust an enemy ground unit that costs 4 or less. I could potentially see that seeing some play. This Luke Skywalker, I think I could potentially see that seeing some play. 7 cost, 6/6 command, heroism, restore 2. When played, you get to deal 3 damage to a ground unit. Maybe I could see it. Maybe in a niche deck, it's Force and Rebel. There wasn't a lot from the heroism side here that was that good. Improvised detonation, I think could see play depending on how many combat tricks we get. It's a 2-cost event where it lets you attack with a unit and it gets +2/+0. Not the absolute best, but it's something for right now. The new Falcon, 7 costs, 5/6 when played. If your base has more damage on it than an enemy base, you get to ready the unit. Maybe. There was a couple of villainy ones that I saw in here too. I think this General Raikan isn't terrible either. 4 cost, 2/6. Has an action where you can attack with a heroism unit. It gets +2/+0 for the attack. It's a pretty good card. Han, 6 cost, 4/6 raid 2 on attack. The defender gets -2/-0. Don't think so. Go for the legs. No. Watch This, I think, is actually a good card. 6 cost event. Return a non-leader unit that costs 6 or less to its owner's hand, and then you get to exhaust each other enemy unit in that same arena. I think that could see some play moving forward. It's not a bad card, and kind of the opposite card in the villainy side was in Vigilance. It was the Desolation of Hoth. We'll get to that in a second. I think that actually has a chance of seeing some more play too. Depends on how things go. The Hoth Lieutenant has seen some play already, but there's some low-cost Imperials, like the Snowtrooper, 1 cost, 1/3. It's not the absolute greatest, but it is a 1 cost Imperial. So if Imperials have support again, I think that is a potential there. This Avenger, no, was not good. 2 damage to a base, no. I kind of like this E-Web Gunner Imperial Trooper, 3 cost, 0/4 with raid 4. Potentially this First Legion Trooper, 3 cost, 3/4, just because it's an Imperial. There's a couple other ones. The Surface Assault Bomber, I don't think is too bad. 2 cost, 1/3 space with raid 1. Not the absolute best, but again, it's an Imperial. Same thing with this Scouting TIE Fighter. 2 cost, 2/2 in space. If we get really hosed and we just really need Imperials, that's an option. I'm surprised Ozzel doesn't see more play than it does as well too. There's one card I was looking for in particular right here, the Desolation of Hoth. This is a 6 cost event, and it's not heroism or villainy, but 6 cost, defeat up to 2 enemy units that each cost 3 or less. I think that could potentially see some play going forward as well too. Vader, the loss of ECL really hurts it a lot, and this card's like Timely Reinforcement. I hope that we get something like that again, but we'll see. We've already got our plot mechanic, which is replacing Smuggle, so I'm not really seeing Vader getting ambushed easily with this next set. Tragedy of Plagueis, maybe the Plagueis combo with Darth Traya could work, especially with those new bases where we can play something off aspect. Maybe we can just put our Trayas in there and use that one time, ignore the aspect penalty to get the Traya into play. That might be good. Something like Itinerant Warrior. I could see maybe some Legends of the Force stuff working here. Axe Wolves live in the dream with the emergency powers. And again, this this whole idea is just to take a look and see what's available. And so I'm trying not to be so disorganized, but I just want to look at this with you here and potentially see what we have to work with going forward. And I know there's a lot of cards here, so we're probably not going to go through them all, but stuff like Knight of Ren is a good basis here for something like that Yularen deck that we were talking about before, potentially here, where we do the Dark Trooper into Knight of Ren, and then we could do something like Craving Power. I could even see Craving Power on something like a Drengir Spawn. That might be fun. These big capital ships, like the Supremacy, just don't see it. Craving Power. Yeah, I mean, just based off of what I'm seeing here, this is my guess. I think to start, we're going to see a lot of Heroism Command, just because it's so good. Heroism Aggression. I really like where Vigilance is for both sides, I guess. Probably more so for Heroism. So I guess this is my prediction. I'm guessing that we're going to see a lot more support for the villainy side, just because at this point we kind of need to see that, because everything just seems so really hero-slanted at this point. But really, I just wanted to do a quick look at the leaders, the bases, stuff like that, see what's available and go from there. By all means, feel free to jump in. I've got some post-rotation videos that I did for Secrets of Power, and I did one for Legends of the Force as well too, so feel free to go back and take a look at those. But I just wanted to get your mind thinking about some of the cards that are going to be available after rotation. So that's it for this one. I would really love to know what you guys are thinking of for set 7. Is there any particular deck that you're really looking forward to, or you're like, oh man, I can't wait for rotation because I'm going to build this deck or that deck, or whatever the case may be? I'd love to know what you think is going to see a lot more play after rotation happens. Do you think that we're going to see some more good combat tricks like events after rotation and set 7? I hope so. What do you guys think about Double Aspect? Really curious to see what you guys think. If you have any predictions, honestly, I'd really love to hear it. I love the concept of rotation. I've been playing other card games for quite a long time. Did Magic for quite a long time, and the rotation always made things fresh and new. So let me know what you guys think. I certainly would like to start doing some more post-rotation decks, especially once we start getting some of these spoilers in. So just want to say thanks for stopping by. It's a little bit of a scattered video, I apologize, but I just want to get a better mindset of what we're going to be looking at potentially after rotation happens. And that's it for this week, or for this video, I should say. But thanks for stopping by, everybody. Appreciate you very much. Really appreciate your support. May the Force be with you, my friends, and be well. Take care.